All right, people, let's jump into this, shall we? No more waiting. Let's just get into this. Welcome back to another show. This is GVS, where I cover all things sports. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day. There's few stories to talk about in the world of sports before the show ever started. We got a lot of NFL action, so we'll be going over that. We got to talk a little bit about Nick Chubb. We could talk about Jermaine Pratt. We could talk about TJ Watt. We could talk about Rodgers. We could talk about Jair Alexander. Like, there's a lot of NFL news that's going on. Nothing too crazy in the MLB landscape, so we might glance over that just a little bit. We'll talk about the NBA Finals last night, Game 2, where the Thunder have now evened up the series at one apiece. And then we will also talk about the it's on the tip of my tongue, Stanley Cup Final. And we'll do a Stanley Cup Final preview because that's kind of what this show is. And that's what we're here for, is this show glorified, like big, this is just me talking about what's the most important sports topic today, which is we got a Stanley Cup Final game. We got a great series on our hands, so let's talk about Game 3. But then there's other fun sports stuff that's going on, like Nick Chubb, like Rodgers, and then, another playoff performance by Shea. So we'll just talk about that a little bit as we get into it. So I hope you guys are having a good day. If you guys are enjoying the video, be sure to hit that like button. Let me know in the polls. I asked a poll on who you guys got out of tonight between the Panthers and the Oilers. Also, let me know a sports take that you have that I can cover towards kind of the end of the show once I run through my thing. And I can, open up the floor for questions, or, hey, what is your thought on blah, or blah, you know what I mean? So let's just jump into it. Let's start first with the NBA Finals, because they're the most recent sport event that just happened. Game 2 was tonight between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. And again, everybody's talking about, this, terrible series. What's going on? This is going to be terrible basketball. Yesterday, kind of, yeah, I would agree. But look at how now, as we turn and shift from game 1 to game 2, and now as we go forward, now it's a best of 5. Now it's a best of 5 series, because instead of all the pressure being on Indiana in Game 3, and we have seen how they haven't been able to perform the best in Game 3s, now it's even at one apiece, where we'll see. Could Halliburton and the Pacers have a little bit of a bounce back, get even with the Thunder and try to take a 2-1 series lead after Game 3? Or do the Thunder take momentum after the Game 2 blowout, and then you see what I mean? So we'll just see. It's a lot different. This series is a lot different from. This series is different in the ways of it being 1-1 going back to Indiana instead of 2-0 in favor of the Thunder going back to Indiana, because the pressure is on Indiana, but the pressure isn't as big as how it was. Let's look at just last season, for example. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Lively, all the boys, they after they got done in Boston, they went to Dallas and lost Game 3, and look at that, 3-0. They had to come back from a 3-0 deficit, and everybody was calling, okay, we got a sweep here, something could happen. But I mean, it's more entertaining in that light of there will be no, there's no chance for a 3-0 lead. But anyways, yesterday, Gilgeous-Alexander had another, 30-plus point performance. And from the vibe and the feeling that you could feel throughout the whole game, like, I think Hartenstein had a good game. I think Holmgren had a good game. Caruso obviously playing his valuable minutes with defense, but then also offense transition. Everybody, like, you could kind of feel it, like you felt it kind of in the second quarter before it went. Was it in the second quarter before halftime or something, where, like, Indiana went on a 17-3 run, No. The Thunder. My bad. My bad. Before halftime to build a huge lead, the Thunder went on a 17-3 run, and then kind of like how we've been talking, where the game might get a little out of hand. Um, Pacers. Then they went on their 12-0 run, so it was kind of blow for blow, everybody punching. But then when you look at some of the stats here, let's just dibble into the stats. Let's just dabble a little bit into the stats. I want to look at Gamecast. Here we go. Turnovers 14-15. Thunder out rebounded them. Yeah, that makes sense. Team stats. Here we go. I want to see the biggest lead. Yeah, look at that. The largest lead the Thunder had at one point was 23 points. Points in the paint. Thunder dominated with 42. Any crazy? There was no, because remember how there was points off of turnovers in one of these past games. There wasn't a crazy stat with that. 3-point percentage. Both were shooting pretty even. Like, it was a pretty even game shooting wise. Like, Pacers were shooting 35% from the three. Thunder were shooting 38% from the three. Field goal percent, Pacers were shooting 45%, Thunder were shooting 48%. Like, it wasn't like a drastic, oh my gosh, one of these teams is shooting 50% and the other is shooting 20%. Like, there wasn't any drastic, like, oh my gosh, someone wake up, please, we need a basket here. Nothing too crazy like that. It was just the lead. It just felt like the whole game was more than arm's length away. And it felt like it was double digit the whole game. Some of the Pacers players, sorry, tongue twister. Halliburton had 17, Nembhard had 11, Miles Turner had 16, Nesmith had 14, Siakam had 15. Bench players, McConnell had 11, Mathurin had 14. So it's not too crazy. Is somebody... Well, okay, look at this. Hold on. Siakam shot 3 for 11. Halliburton shot 7 for... No, you can't... No, no. Just a bad shooting night. I'd say bad shooting night by the Pacers. Because you look at some of the other big players that need to show up. Nesmith and Siakam. When Halliburton, that's the other thing too, is Halliburton's the kind of player, and we've noticed it, and we've watched it in these NBA Finals, and we've watched it in these playoffs, is Halliburton can be a player that can go get 25 plus points, but that's not his game. Does that make sense? Like, we know what his game is getting everybody else involved, and so when he's getting everybody else involved, what you know what I mean? Like, what's their fault? Like, what's going on? Like, we're trying to dish it out to Turner. Turner's not shooting so good from the three. He shot 1 for 5. Or feeding it out to Siakam. He's not shooting so good from the three. He was 1 for 4. So maybe I wouldn't overreact too much from the loss. But yeah, from the get go and from the jump, you could kind of tell. You could kind of tell who was going to win it, just because, yeah, Thunder were up by 20 at the majority points of the game, and then it'd be fun. Like, the Pacers would go on a little bit of a run, but then the Thunder would be like, okay, whatever, and then they'd show why they're the best, and then they'd extend the lead again. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about, because we do have some NFL news that just broke earlier this morning, and we'll probably circle back towards the end to just see we missing anything. Are there any last second stories that we did not cover? So, Jair Alexander, he was released from the Green Bay Packers today. I think that is just probably a contract dispute. From what it seems with... just with stuff that's going on lately. I think I don't know what the market is for defensive players. Um, and I don't know if the Packers met those demands, and that's probably why we're in the situation that we're in, because he's a pretty good player. Um, is he a Darrell Revis? No. Is he a Richard Sherman? No. Like, if you want to compare him against other, you know, players at the position now, like Patrick Surtain, who else is one of the better backs and corners in the league? The only one I can think of off the top of my head is Surtain. Ooh. C.J. Garner-Johnson, Murphy, Marion Humphrey, Kirby Joseph. Um, Tackles, I'm gonna look at interceptions. Um, well, just looking at it from this point of view, um, okay, even on the Packers, even on the Packers. Now there probably is context to this because, well, yeah, Xavier McKinney has more interceptions because they're thrown towards his side more because they're not thrown to Alexander's side. Um, Kirby Joseph, Xavier McKinney, Marlon Humphrey, Garner Johnson, that was from Philly, but then he's on the Texans now. Byron Murphy, Dante Jackson, Amani Hooker, Derek Stingley, Callan Bullock, Jesse Bates, Geno Stone, Reed Blankenship, Beanie Bishop, Pat Surtain. Okay, so these are all guys who had or more, four or more interceptions. Kirby Joseph led it with 9. Let's see, pass deflects, passes defended. Denzel Ward had the most with 19. Stingley had 18. Then we go to Michael Jackson, Zion McCollum, Zach Jones, Cam Taylor-Britt, Alontae Taylor, Brian Branch, Marley. Like I'm looking for Jair Alexander. Like I'm looking for his name to see where he can well, just to see where he compares. Cuz I don't know what the market is. I can't. Hold on. Oh my hell! I clicked the wrong button because you know how you can click and then never mind. Because now it's like yes, of course, Joe Flacco would be ranked 583rd on pass breakups with 0. Yes, I know this because he wasn't on defense. Shit. Okay. Okay. Let's do defense. Um let's see. Well, let's just go to here. Here's how we'll fix this. Let's just go look at his stats. No, not Shea Gilgis Alexander. Let's. All right. All right. So, fifth. Okay. So we want to look status questionable. Well, okay. So was he dealing with injury? How many games did he play? In see. Ah, okay. So he did not play. So he must have been injured after the Chicago game because he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He played 7 games last season. So that would definitely affect stats wise only playing 7 games because when you look at he only had 15 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 7 pass breakups. When it's like okay, he's tied for 38th, tied for 80th. Like when we want to size him up against his peers. It's like, well, no wonder he was injured. Totally skipped my mind on that. Well, you know, we know. We know not a lot of teams pay injured guys, so all right. I think he gets healthy, heals up. He wasn't a bad player. It's not like we're going, oh, phew, because I don't recall him getting beat on any deep balls or anything where it's like, okay, well, we certainly go, okay, you blew the game. But I think any defense that's willing to bring on a veteran presence like him, like if he does take a money cut, look at some of the, I mean, let's go to Cincinnati right now. One of the biggest stories and talking points for the Bengals going into this season is who do they got on defense? Hubbard retired. They're working on contract disputes with Hendrickson. They just released Pratt. Now, I think they released Pratt to probably make and construct enough space so that they could sign Hendrickson to an extension and stuff. That's my vibe and my feeling from that situation. But it's like, if he's willing to take a pay cut and he goes to the Bengals, that would definitely help the Bengals defense. Other top defenses, I think he could be a good rotational piece or something. Like, you look at the Ravens, you look at the Chiefs, you look at the Bills, you look at the Lions. I mean, the Lions, again, they had, 16 guys on defense alone on injured reserve? Tell me how Jair Alexander couldn't help the Lions defense. And if you want to, get back at the Packers, why not go sign with the Lions? You know, division rival. You get to play them twice a year. We'll see you September. When's the first game? Well, we'll see you September 7th. So I don't know. I think he's the kind of player though that, considering having watched him and how long, he'll be fine. He'll be fine wherever he goes. So it'll be intriguing to see where he goes from there. And now, but let's talk a little bit about Nick Chubb. I think Texans have a great running back room because you got Mixon and you got Chubb, and both of them respectfully are pretty decent running backs. Now let's see where Nick Chubb ranks. La la la. Because we know he was dealing with the injury. Oh, come on. Let's do this. We know about the scary injury against the Steelers. All right. Well, he only played 8 games last year. So he is coming back from an injury, so let's, Because if he played, he only played 2 games in 2023, then he got injured against the Steelers, then he only played 8 games. Were the 8 games that he played in Cleveland last year towards the, let's just go double check. Were they towards the end of the season? Where it's like you're playing the last 8 games? Let me double check. Let's do some research here. Hold on. Yes, that's what it's looking like here, where his first game back was against the Bengals in October. So he played He played the Bengal game, the Raven game, the Charger game, the Saints game, the Steelers game in the snow, the Bronco game, the Steelers game again, and then the Kansas City game around Christmas, and then he didn't play another snap for the Browns. From what it looks like. But anyways, we've seen how well Nick Chubb has played football up until this point, and again, we got to kind of take it with a curve and in context, because obviously, no, he's not going to be as good as he was in 2020 and as good as he was in 2021 before the injury season. So, but if he can get back to that kind of level with Mixon in the backfield, with Stroud, with all the other offensive pieces that the Texans have, there's no reason the Texans can't win the South this season. But that is yet to be determined. And also, yeah, okay. So good for him. Well, and I don't know how much he was going to win if he stayed in Cleveland. I mean, I don't know. So yeah, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on Nick Chubb going to the Texans. Is I think it's a good move. I think it helps the Texans. I still think he probably has another good 2-3 years left in him, and then he'll probably, because with running backs, and we've seen it, because Todd Gurley retired young, but again, Todd Gurley was like banged up to shit because he was dealing with injuries. Who are some other? Marshawn Lynch was a little older. I'm trying to think. For the life of me, why can I not think of any running backs off the top of my head? Like, I'm thinking of like Adrian Peterson, but like he didn't retire young. Like he kept going place to place to place. Like he went to Washington, and then he played, I think, weren't his last games in like 22 or something with the Titans. But yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, this might sound crazy because I'm looking at it here. Okay, so Derrick Henry. Oh my gosh. Because there was a time when we did put Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Christian McCaffrey all in the same conversation. Jonathan Taylor was also in that conversation. What if Nick Chubb going to the Texans is kind of like, oh my gosh, why the shit am I so tired? Kind of like Montgomery when he went to the Lions, or Henry going to the Ravens. What if it's like an extra spark, like, okay, new environment, new place. James Conner's still like, I'm looking at some of these stats here. James Conner's still a decent running back. He's in Arizona right now. I thought Tony Pollard was pretty good with Dallas. I don't know why Dallas got rid of him. I think Najee Harris on the Steelers might be decent. No. Chargers, my bad. He came from the Steelers. Who had the most rushing touchdowns? Wasn't it Saquon? No, it was Derrick Henry. Okay. Which we've seen the James Cook stuff. How he, I think James Cook probably got cut. I don't know. Still waiting for further news on that because I'm looking at who had the most touchdowns from running backs. Derrick Henry, James Cook, and Jamar Gibbs all had 16, then 15 down. Josh Jacobs, not going to count Jalen Hurts because he's a quarterback, not a running back. Kyron Williams, Bijan Robinson, and then Saquon. Saquon had 13. This was in the regular season. This is not including postseason because in the postseason, Saquon had the most with 5. Interesting. James Cook, what the hell? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Cause yeah, I saw the things about how like they probably cut him, and I don't know. Well, and let's look at something here. So James Cook drafted in 2022. 2022 season, 2023 season. Oh, okay. It's contracts. It's contracts disputes then, because your rookie contract is 4 years, 2022, 2023, 2024. Going into the fourth year, yeah, it's probably contract disputes. He probably wanted to make Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley money, and the Bills were probably like, no. And again, wherever, okay, what's a team? Trying to think of a team that's James Cook goes to the Steelers. Again, there's a polarizing gravitas that Rodgers has, but if there's contract disputes, James Cook could jump ship and go to the Steelers. I don't know why he would go to the Ravens because they already got Henry and Jackson. Wherever James Cook goes that'll be fantastic pickup, because just when you look at his stats, okay, rushing not the best. He was ranked 16th. He had just barely over 1,000 yards. But yards are big, but what's the bigger stat? Touchdowns. He had 16. He was tied for first. 3 players had the most: Derrick Henry and Jamar Gibbs. So whoever decides to pick up James Cook, I think they're gonna get they're gonna get a hell of a player. So the Bills need to pull their head out of their ass and sign him, because I don't think Josh Allen rushing wise had 12 touchdowns, but then passing he had I think 28, because I think him and Rodgers both had 28. You take away James Cook, that offense gets just a little bit tighter, because where's your running game for Buffalo? You can't rely on Josh Allen to do everything. He can be Superman in ways, but like even when you look at other dual threat running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts with the Eagles, Jalen Hurts can be Superman for only so long before, guess what? You have to hand it off to your prime running back to get the first down or make something happen. Lamar, if the passing game's not there, Mark Andrews is dropping sorry, too soon. But, or Zay Flowers, go back to old reliable, give it to King Henry up the middle. So, interesting development for Buffalo going on here. Because they're going to need him. They're going to need Cook. Like, just imagine, okay, here we go. Well, let's look at some of the other... We're looking from the point of view of top quarterbacks passing, through the stat category of passing. Okay, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Bo Nix, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes are the top 10 in passing touchdowns. And again, this is all hypothetical because I'm overreacting to everything. You put James Cook with the Bengals, that offense just gets that much better. You put James Cook with Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Buccaneers get that much better. I don't think he would go to the Ravens because, again, there's already Jackson and Henry. I don't think he'd go to Lions because there's already Jahmyr Gibbs, and. Now, he goes to the Mile High, Bo Nix, maybe. I already talked about Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. You put him with, let's just scroll down the list a little bit more. Put him with Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Put him on the 49ers. That 49ers offense. Because I think Cook, the amount of production that you get from Cook could definitely make up for the production that was lacking last season that you might potentially miss if he did have a bounce back season with Deebo Samuel. So I think that would definitely help. Two-headed tandem, like let's look at Matthew Stafford. Two-headed tandem with Cook and Kyren Williams in LA. I think, wow, okay. I think James Cook, wherever he goes, damn. And again, you throw James Cook in the same backfield as... Damn it. I shouldn't be yawning. If we put James Cook in the same backfield as Saquon Barkley, the Eagles are going back to back, dude. But we'll see. Holy shit, we'll see. This is a fun, interesting developing story. Like, this is a fun developing story. I want to follow this a little more. Because it's as if, let's take touchdowns, okay? Importance of touchdowns, okay? It's as if you take Baker Mayfield, because, again, the most important stat, whether offense or defense, is touchdowns, because it's what wins the game. You take, because it went Henry, Cook, and Gibbs, because they were the top three. You take the top three passing quarterbacks in the NFL, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. It's like the Ravens getting rid of Lamar or the Bengals getting rid of Joe Burrow. Like, there will be, like, hey, whichever team Lamar's going to, he's going to affect them greatly. So, interesting. We'll have to follow this one closely. Or, let's go to receiving right now. Jamar Chase. It'd be as if Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, or Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like if St. Brown left the Lions and went to the Bills just got that much better. Or if Mike Evans left Tampa Bay and went to the no. He's on the Buccaneers. But if Mike Evans left the Bucs and went to the Bengals, holy shit. There's no excuse for them to lose a Super Bowl other than the fact that they'll score 40-something points and their defense will give up 40-something and 1 points. Holy shit, it's fun to look at stats. Okay, but we're not here to look at stats. Let's talk about, sorry, I've been rambling, people. Let's talk about, let's close the show out. We've been rambling a little too much on getting caught up in some of the fun stories around the NFL, whether it's Rodgers, whether it's Alexander or Chubb. Let's talk about now what we got going on tonight, which is Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. After an explosive, great Game 1, we had another great Game 2, and 2 comebacks, where in Game 1, Panthers went up 3-1, but then the Oilers came storming back and won it in overtime. Same thing here for Game 2. After a long, very, it was a tense game. It went to double overtime. There was just extra checks, extra everything, because just the emotions were ramped up a little bit higher. In OT, Brad Marchand able to get it past Stuart Skinner, And the Panthers, instead of going down 2-0 in the series, have now evened it up as they go to Game 3. And my preview and my prediction on this Game 3 is this is definitely the game where Florida takes a 2-1 series lead in the series, where they caught momentum, because we know how good of a road team both the Oilers and the Panthers are. But we'll favor, and we'll kind of give a little bit more love and more praise to the Panthers, considering how they beat the Canes and how they beat the Leafs. I have a feeling with just after the great, phenomenal, exhausting Game 2 victory for the Panthers, there's parts of me that think you take that motivation and, you ride the highs and the lows of the series, where this Game 3 will probably be, a straight, like, high-scoring affair, because there's been goals, and like we saw how we saw how period 1 of Game 2 started, where it's like, holy shit, it's 3-2. But I think with just the manner of which Panthers settled in, scored late, just, I don't know, could we have another OT game? Probably. It wouldn't be out of the question. But there's parts of me that with just how the Oilers had Game 2, they could, they were staring at a 2-0 series lead, how the Panthers were able to fight back in that game, take the lead. Now they did blow the lead to get it to go to OT, but with how they won, you take momentum from that, and I have a feeling it could roll into Game 3, where, after going down 1-0 in the series, Panthers are now after Game 3 looking at a 2-1 series lead. So that's my thoughts on that. Other players that I think might need to get involved just with the series, like, we know a lot of the defensive guys have gotten involved in the series, whether it's Jonesy, whether it's Bennett, because Bennett's like public enemy number 1 in Edmonton. I think Tkachuk and Verhaeghe, I have a feeling, might have a big game tonight. Just because I just have a feeling like after just a couple rest days, offense comes out swinging in this game. I don't know. Like, I don't see a goalie masterclass in the way of a shutout. Like, I don't see it today. Like, I can still see just high scoring games, because we've seen it. Bobrovsky can't stop Draisaitl. Like, Draisaitl's been able to get some past. I'm interested to see where McDavid goes from the series moving forward too, because as much as we'd love to see goalie clinics, I think it'll be clinic in the way of, hey, out of 38 shots, 40 shots, you only, let 3-4 by, instead of, hey, the Oilers shot 45 pucks tonight, and Bobrovsky pitched a shutout. I want to say that happened, and it would definitely help in talks of a Conn Smythe if Bobrovsky were to win a Conn Smythe this season. But I don't know. But that's my thoughts and my prediction on Game 3 tonight. Is I got the Panthers winning it. Look at this, taking the Panthers in 3 straight games. This surely won't backfire. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Be sure to hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. All right. Okay. Let's, here we go. See, it's that easy. It's that easy, people. Clip that, chat. Clip that. Okay, let me check. Let me sweep through the sports one more time, because it's noon. And usually if there's breaking news, it happens around by noontime. I saw the thing about the NCAA. I'm gonna wait till that. Yeah, because I'm reading some articles here. We'll wait on that one. We'll come back to that one. We'll circle back. Let's give it a week, 2 weeks. We'll circle back. Let's go through here. Judge homers off Red Sox rookie after jab at Yankees. Yeah, what? No shit. I did see that, where it's like, even if they were the last team, I wouldn't sign. It's like, oh boy. You better either pitch a shutout or they're going deep on you. And wouldn't you know it, Judge steps up to the plate. 450, dead center. Here we go. Packers to release Colts, or Bengals to release longtime linebacker Pratt. Yeah, and with the Bengals releasing Jermaine Pratt, like, I don't know. I don't know how you can look and say, okay, the Bengals are getting better. Like, I don't know. Oh no. Oh no, this isn't good. Well, all right, NHL. Let's see the NHL. Hard hitting Greer back for Panthers in Game 3. Okay, Oilers shrug off what ifs ahead of Game 3 as they look towards Game 3. Marchand. I saw the cool thing. I thought it was a cool stat where the last time Brad Marchand had a goal in the Stanley Cup final was also on June 6th. Like, I did see that, like how he had one against the Canucks. I don't remember, did he have a goal against the Blues back in 2019? And if he probably did, it probably wasn't on June 6th, which is probably why they didn't make that post. But we got good series going on, man. We have so many Stars fire Coach DeBoer. Yes, we already reacted to that. College football, the conference NIL stuff with the NCAA. We'll let that continue to go. Okay, looks like we're all good, people. Okay, let me check the chat real quick. And then we will end it. Oh my gosh. Sorry, people. Shit. All right. Okay, we'll end the stream there. Pretty quiet, which is good, which is fine. So people on the shorts end, we're gonna do a hard out here. Y'all, yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on who potentially could win the game tonight between the Panthers and the Oilers. I think I'll lead towards the Panthers again tonight because, again, I'm still going to hammer home that thought of and not get off this high horse of, with how well both teams have both been playing in the playoffs up until this point. I don't see a 3-1 series lead. I don't see a 3-0 series lead, kind of like how it was last season. Like, I really think both teams are built for this moment, and both teams definitely have shown, it's the 8th seeded Panthers, kind of how it was like a couple summers ago. We saw the Oilers just dismantle Dallas and pick them apart after getting shut out in Game 1. Not shut out, but you know what I mean. So, we'll see. So, Lynn Panthers taking a 2-1 series lead, but then Oilers bouncing back in Game 4, and this thing turned into a best of 3. Anyways, guys, we'll end the stream here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to hit that like button so you know where to come back to. Thank you for all the support. This channel been growing and stuff. So I believe we are at, let me double check. I think we're at 51. Yep. 1, 1051. So I thank you guys for all your subs lately. Let's keep growing, man. I'll see you in the next stream.